So welcome to another weekly edit. I actually managed to get out at the weekend, which was really nice for a sunrise, all the way down to Coverack on the Lizard. Cold morning, actually, really chilly. It was nice. We didn't have rain for a change, and the skies cleared up a little bit, but the temperature did drop quite considerably. So, going to be editing an image from that morning, just a single frame. Before I get into the edit, there's a new episode out of Flashbang Wallop, so please check that out. I'll put the link up. Yeah, it's a good episode. I think Sarah and Damos share some brilliant images, wildlife, cityscapes, well worth checking out. So let's get into the edit. So here is the shot from that morning. This was quite a bit past sunrise at this point. I did sunrise. I then went round to the harbour area, took a few shots, and then walking back, the tide had receded quite a way, and from the sort of sea wall, the road, looking back down on the beach, I could kind of see some potential to go back down there. So I went back down there. So sun was quite high at this point. I believe at the time I had a polarizer on and a freestop filter just to try and drag my exposure long enough to try and get some of this wave movement. So let's go into develop on this one. And this image is kind of a good example as to why always go into the lens corrections first, because if we look, my Tamron 24-70, which is a great lens, it does have a slight curvature at the wide end. You see this slightly on the horizon here. And by enabling the profile corrections, if I just flip between those two, you can see, one, it's taking some natural vignetting of the lens, and secondly, is you can just see it is just correcting the distortion and straightening that horizon up. So that's a good starting point. First thing I'm going to do with this image actually is straighten and crop it. So let's take the straighten tool, just apply that across that horizon line, somewhere like that, just to straighten it up slightly. Next thing I'm going to do is crop it. Now, my thought process with the crop on this one is this sort of side is not adding too much, like these little sort of areas of foam that have been left by the tide, but we've got more of a gap on this side than we do this side. So I'm going to try and even that up a little bit, and I think like something like a 4:3 crop should work quite nicely. The sky is very plain, so I'm happy to lose a bit of the sky, something like that. So yeah, happy with that. Then go into work top to bottom, go through the edit. So pull my highlights down. It is quite bright in this area. The sun was just up here off to camera right. I'll look at the shadows, but yeah, they don't need lifting too much. It's quite bright overall. Gonna hold down Option, just check what my whites are looking like. Yeah, so it's just that sky area, that's fine. Again, with the blacks, holding Option down, I'm just going to see there's not a lot of contrast in the image. And I think that's partly to do with the time of day, and also I was using my Nissi magnetic filters, and one of the drawbacks with those filters is you can't use a lens hood. So when you've got the sun breaking in from the side, you can lose a bit of contrast. So I'm just going to lift those blacks back up a little bit, but I'm going to add a bit of contrast to the shot. You can see a difference it's kind of making. Have a look at texture. You can tell I kind of rock with the sliders. Do that quite a lot, just to sort of add some texture and then just bring it back a little bit and just kind of, yeah, I don't just go bam like that, whack it right up. I'd like to just a little bit of clarity. Yeah, not too bad at all. It's got overall quite a warm tone to the image, and I think I prefer it to be a little bit cooler. So I'm just going to play with the temperature a little bit. Not too much, but it's just looking a little bit warm for me. Yeah, somewhere like that. I'm going to go into the masking tools, and yeah, this top area of the sky is a little bright, so I'm just going to take a linear gradient on like a slight angle, because I don't want to affect the sky where it's okay over here. In fact, I might even have to subtract another sort of linear mask and just sort of take it away a little bit over that side, somewhere like that. So again, it's only the red area that I'm actually impacting. And then just going to pull the exposure down a little bit. I don't want it looking too unnatural. Need to bring that mask down a little bit. Yeah, that's just evened it up a little bit. See if I can sort of show before and after on the mask. Here we go. So yeah, it doesn't help that window's kind of in the way. So if I move that out of the way, so that's before and that's after. It's really useful doing that actually, because I'm now thinking I've gone a little bit too heavy with it. So just going to play around with this mask a little bit. And mostly the position of it. So where I've minused, I'm just going to make that one even more kind of feathered. Let's have another look before and after. Yeah, it's better. It's a little bit more natural looking. Put that tool back up there, otherwise I'll be wondering where it's gone next time I come to use it. So again, backslash, just that's where we started, and that's where we are currently. Yeah, I'm relatively pleased with that. Just going to go back into my masking tools and do a linear gradient up through here, like that. And I don't want to impact the sand at all, so I'm going to subtract another linear mask, like that. So again, we're just affecting this area of red. And I'm going to add a bit of dehaze. Basically, I'm just trying to emphasize this sort of swish of the wave going back, something like that, and push my whites a little bit, yeah, like that. See, yeah, I'm going to go quite heavy on the whites, because I feel this area of the photograph is kind of the focal point. This is where all the action's kind of happening. So again, if I take this over here on this new mask, if I just show you before and after, just giving a bit more contrast in this area. Okay, so let's go into the color mixer, and with the blues, I'm just gonna impact that luminance a little bit, not too much, somewhere like that. Okay, I think that's okay. I think this shot could potentially work in black and white as well. So what I'm going to do, before I do that, I'm just going to lose this plane contrail up here. It's only very minor, but I do find it distracting. So that's got rid of that. Then I'm just going to do my normal kind of sharpening. Somewhere around there. And I am just going to look at my vibrance and saturation. Yeah, somewhere like that. Not too much. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I think this shot potentially works in colour and black and white, and I'm kind of undecided. So let's just do both, why not? So if I go back into my library, what we can do on this image here, if we create a virtual copy. So I've now got two images. The good thing about a virtual copy is it's not duplicating my file. It's not I'm not ending up with another file that's, say, 30 megabytes in size. It's a virtual copy, so it's referencing the original file. So if I get rid of the original file, I am going to have a problem with virtual copy. But as long as I don't lose the original, it's fine. So let's have a look at what this is looking like in black and white. So just going to go into black and white. First thing I'm going to do is look at the black and white mix. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to have any reds in there. There's a little bit of orange on the headland in the distance. Probably the same again with, yeah, yellow's a little bit in the sand. Blues is going to be the obvious one. I'm not going to push it too far. But being a black and white, I think I can push the blacks and whites even more so than the colour version to really get some contrast in there. So I'm going to really have a look at the whites like that and have a look at really push the blacks. Maybe gone a little bit too far, something like that. Okay, yeah, that's not looking too bad. Going to go into my mask tool, and again, this area here, I'm just going to apply a brush over this line. Like that. Don't have to be too fussy with it, because I'm only going to influence the whites like that. And I might do this same again, but with a radial. We've got some nice texture going on in here. Just need to rotate the mask, that's better. Like that. And I'm just going to feather it off. And again, I'm just going to push the whites in that area and maybe the blacks. Not too much. Something like that. Yeah. And then I'm going to do another mask. I am going to give it a slight vignette to try and draw the eye into more the centre of the image. So done a radial mask, option apostrophe to invert it. I want it to be really quite feathered. Don't want it being too abrupt. Something like that. You can see some of the red areas I'm impacting, and they're very sort of feathered and around the edge. So yeah, I'm going to go quite heavy with it, somewhere like that. Okay, let's have a look at before and after. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Just going to lose this. Just my eye's just been drawn to this little white area here, so I'm just going to take that out like that. Hasn't actually done a very good job of that, so let's try the healing brush rather than the remove tool. See what that does. Oh, that's even worse. So let's go for a clone. I know why, because I've got no feather on there. Let's try that again. Let's go back to the healing brush. I had no, yeah, that'll be why. I've got no, I had no feather in place, so it was looking odd. Still doesn't look great, does it? Should be a simple job, this. Let's zoom in. Oh, that's interesting, those lines. I've got a bit of a dust spot there as well. Let's try the remove tool again. Let's see if it does any better now I'm a bit zoomed in. Yeah, it's a bit better. And while I'm here, let's get rid of these dust spots. Okay, that's better. So before and after. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So let me know what you think. I'll put both images up, colour and black and white. I think I prefer the black and white, actually. It's got a little bit more going for it. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll put both images up. And until next time, goodbye.